The Power of Stoicism. 10 Unshakable Principles for Mastering Your Mind and Life. In a world of constant chaos and uncertainty, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers timeless wisdom for achieving mental fortitude and emotional resilience. This comprehensive guide explores 10 powerful Stoic principles that can transform how you respond to life's challenges, helping you develop unshakable inner peace regardless of external circumstances. The challenge of modern life: why we need Stoicism now. Imagine this scenario. Your alarm fails to go off. You rush out the door, spill coffee on your freshly pressed shirt, and get stuck in gridlock traffic. When you finally arrive at your important meeting, your boss criticizes your presentation in front of the entire team. By lunchtime, you're mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, and the day has barely begun. Sound familiar? In our hyper-connected, always-on world, we face a barrage of stressors that our ancestors couldn't have imagined. Social media bombards us with carefully curated images of perfect lives. Work demands extend beyond traditional hours. Personal relationships require constant navigation. The result? Skyrocketing anxiety, widespread burnout, and a pervasive sense that life is happening to us rather than being shaped by us. But what if none of these external circumstances had the power to derail your inner peace? What if you could remain calm, focused, and purposeful, regardless of what life throws at you? This is precisely what the ancient Stoics discovered over 2,000 years ago. Philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius developed practical wisdom for navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and resilience. Their insights weren't theoretical abstractions, but battle-tested principles forged through personal hardship and careful observation of human nature. The fundamental problem we face isn't the existence of difficulties, it's our relationship to them. We mistakenly believe our happiness depends on controlling external events rather than mastering our responses to them. We react impulsively instead of responding thoughtfully. We allow others' opinions to dictate our self-worth instead of living by our own values. Stoicism offers a different path, one that leads to genuine tranquility and unshakable strength. Let's explore the 10 principles that can transform your mental landscape and help you navigate life's storms with remarkable composure. Principle 1. Establish a firm purpose in life. Without a clear direction, we drift aimlessly through life, vulnerable to every shift in circumstance and others' expectations. As Epictetus taught, having firm purposes serves as your internal compass through life's turbulent seas. This isn't merely about career ambitions or material achievements. It's about identifying the core principles and values that will guide your decisions and actions, regardless of external pressures. Your firm purpose answers the fundamental questions. What kind of person do you want to be? What values will you uphold even when it's difficult? What legacy do you wish to leave? When you have clarity of purpose, seemingly insurmountable challenges transform into manageable steps on your journey. Distractions lose their power. Decision-making becomes simpler because you can evaluate choices against your core values, rather than fleeting emotions or others' expectations. Developing your firm purpose requires deep reflection. Set aside time to contemplate what truly matters to you, beyond superficial desires or societal expectations. Write it down, refine it regularly, and let it guide your daily choices. As Seneca advised, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Principle 2. Focus only on what you can control. Perhaps the most foundational Stoic teaching is the dichotomy of control, the understanding that some things are within our power, while others are not. We waste tremendous energy worrying about circumstances beyond our influence: the economy, the weather, others' opinions or past events. The Stoics recognized that we have complete control over only three things: our judgments, how we perceive situations; our actions, how we respond; and our willingness, what we pursue or avoid. Everything else, including other people's behavior, external events and outcomes, lies outside our complete control. This distinction isn't merely philosophical, it's intensely practical. By focusing your energy exclusively on what you can control, you reclaim your power and eliminate needless suffering. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you experience immediate relief from anxiety and frustration. Practice applying this principle by regularly asking yourself, is this within my power to change? If not, redirect your attention to what is, your perspective, your response, your next action. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Principle 3. Guard your mind with vigilance. Your mind is the most precious territory you possess, yet most people leave it unguarded, allowing any thought, influence, or emotion to take residence. The Stoics understood that mental vigilance isn't about suppressing emotions, but carefully selecting what deserves your attention. Like a diligent gatekeeper, you must monitor what enters your mental space. This includes the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, the people you surround yourself with, and most importantly, the thoughts you entertain. When negative thoughts arise, as they inevitably will, don't fight them directly. Instead, examine them with curious detachment. Ask yourself, is this thought serving my well-being and purpose? Is it based on facts or assumptions? Is it within my control? Modern applications of this principle include digital boundaries, limiting social media and news consumption, creating environments that support mental clarity, reducing clutter and noise, and practicing mindfulness to increase awareness of your thought patterns. Remember that your attention is a finite resource, perhaps your most valuable one. Guard it accordingly. As Epictetus noted, make it your study to set a guard on the quality of your impressions. For if you once gain time and an interval for reflection, you will more easily master yourself. Principle 4. Master the art of handling criticism. Few things trigger emotional reactions more reliably than criticism. Yet the Stoics recognize that our response to criticism reveals more about our character than the criticism itself. When you understand yourself deeply and act according to your values, criticism loses its sting. You can evaluate feedback objectively, extracting any useful insights while discarding what doesn't serve your growth. This doesn't mean ignoring all criticism. It means developing the wisdom to distinguish between constructive feedback and empty judgment. Practical steps for mastering criticism include: first, pause before responding. This creates space between stimulus and reaction, allowing you to choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. Second, seek the grain of truth. Even in unfair criticism, there may be valuable insights about how your actions are perceived. Third, consider the source. Is this person offering criticism from a place of genuine care and expertise, or are they projecting their own insecurities? Finally, remember that criticism often reveals more about the critic than the criticized. As Marcus Aurelius advised, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. Principle 5. Transform offense into strength. The ability to remain unperturbed by offense is a superpower in today's easily triggered world. The Stoics taught that it's not the offense itself that causes suffering, but our interpretation of it. When someone insults or offends you, recognize that you have complete freedom to choose your interpretation. You can view it as an attack requiring defense or as an opportunity to practice patience and understanding. The first path leads to escalation and suffering. The second, to growth and peace. Epictetus famously said, "Remember that it is we who torment ourselves, that is, our opinions of things which torment us." When you feel offended, examine the underlying belief causing your distress. Is it that everyone must respect you? That you must never be misunderstood? These expectations, not others' words or actions, create your suffering. Practice cognitive reframing. When offended, look at the situation from different angles. Consider what might be motivating the other person's behavior. Are they experiencing stress, fear, or insecurity? This perspective fosters compassion rather than anger, by transforming offense into an opportunity for self-examination and growth. You develop extraordinary resilience in the face of criticism and conflict. This doesn't mean becoming a doormat. You can still maintain boundaries while choosing not to be emotionally disturbed. Principle 6. Practice negative visualization. While modern self-help often focuses exclusively on positive thinking, the Stoics understood the power of strategic negative visualization, a practice they called premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. This counterintuitive technique involves regularly contemplating potential hardships, the loss of a job, illness, the death of a loved one, or personal failure. Far from being morbid or pessimistic, this practice serves several powerful functions. First, it reduces anxiety about potential future events by mentally preparing for them in advance. When you've already considered how you might handle a difficult situation, it becomes less frightening. Second, it cultivates profound gratitude for what you currently have. By imagining the absence of people and circumstances you value, you appreciate them more deeply in the present. Third, it builds resilience by strengthening your psychological immune system through controlled exposure to difficulty. Just as vaccines work by introducing small amounts of pathogens, negative visualization inoculates you against future distress. To practice this principle, spend a few minutes each week contemplating specific challenges you might face. Visualize how you would respond with dignity and courage. Then, return to the present moment with renewed appreciation for your current circumstances. As Seneca advised, he who fears suffering already suffers what he fears. By facing potential hardships in your mind, you diminish their power to disturb your peace when, or if, they actually occur. Principle 7. Confront fear and shame. Fear and shame are perhaps the most powerful emotions that limit human potential. The Stoics recognize that these emotions aren't inherent in situations, but are products of our interpretations. Fear arises when we imagine negative future outcomes and doubt our ability to handle them. Shame emerges when we believe we've fallen short of our own or others' standards. Both emotions can be paralyzing if left unexamined. The Stoic approach isn't to eliminate these emotions, but to engage with them productively. When fear arises, ask yourself, what specifically am I afraid of? What's the worst that could happen? How would I cope if it did? Breaking vague fears into specific concerns makes them more manageable. Similarly, when feeling shame, examine the beliefs underlying it. Are you holding yourself to realistic standards? Are you confusing your actions with your worth as a person? Remember that making mistakes is an essential part of being human. It's how you respond to them that defines your character. By confronting fear and shame directly rather than avoiding them, you gradually diminish their power. As Epictetus taught, it is not things that disturb people, but their judgments about things. Change your judgments about what is fearful or shameful, and you change your emotional experience. Principle 8. Accept what you cannot change. Resistance to reality is the source of much unnecessary suffering. The Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting what cannot be changed, while focusing your energy on effective action within your sphere of influence. This principle, captured in the Serenity Prayer popularized by Alcoholics Anonymous, is not about passive resignation, but clear-eyed recognition of reality. Fighting against immutable facts only depletes your energy and increases frustration. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. You can acknowledge reality while still working to influence future outcomes. When facing an undesirable situation, ask yourself, can I change this directly? If not, can I change my perspective about it? What constructive action can I take from here? Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics knew intuitively. Acceptance is associated with better mental health outcomes than resistance or avoidance. By accepting life as it is, with all its imperfections and challenges, you free up tremendous energy previously spent on futile resistance. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This wholehearted acceptance of reality is the foundation for effective action and genuine peace. Principle 9. Find strength in adversity. The Stoics maintain that adversity doesn't break you. It reveals and strengthens who you truly are. They view difficulties not as punishments, but as training opportunities provided by life to develop virtue and resilience. This perspective transforms how you experience challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this difficulty help me grow stronger or wiser?" This simple shift changes your relationship to adversity from victim to student. The Stoics use the metaphor of the wrestling match. Just as wrestlers develop strength by training with worthy opponents, we develop character by engaging with meaningful challenges. Without resistance, there is no growth. When facing hardship, remind yourself that countless individuals throughout history have endured similar or worse circumstances with dignity. Draw inspiration from their examples while recognizing your own capacity for resilience. Research in post-traumatic growth confirms the Stoic insight that adversity can lead to positive psychological change, including greater appreciation for life, more meaningful relationships, enhanced personal strength, recognition of new possibilities, and spiritual development. As Seneca observed, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. By embracing this perspective, you transform life's inevitable challenges into opportunities for growth rather than occasions for complaint. Principle 10. Practice gratitude daily. While the Stoics are often associated with enduring hardship, they equally emphasize the importance of recognizing and appreciating the good in our lives. Gratitude was not merely a pleasant emotion, but a deliberate practice essential for well-being. Modern research confirms that gratitude is one of the most reliable paths to increased happiness and life satisfaction. It shifts your attention from what's lacking to what's present, countering the human tendency toward negative focus and hedonic adaptation. The Stoic approach to gratitude is particularly powerful because it's grounded in the recognition of impermanence. When you acknowledge that everything you value, your health, relationships, material comforts, is temporary, you appreciate them more deeply in the present. Marcus Aurelius practiced this by beginning each day with gratitude reflections. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Implement this principle by establishing a daily gratitude practice. Each morning or evening, identify 3 specific things you're grateful for, focusing on the details and why they matter to you. Include both significant aspects of life and small, easily overlooked pleasures. Remember that gratitude isn't about ignoring difficulties or adopting toxic positivity. It's about developing a more balanced perspective that acknowledges both challenges and blessings, helping you navigate life with greater equanimity and joy. Implementing Stoic Principles, a practical guide. Understanding Stoic principles intellectually is only the first step. The real transformation comes through consistent practice. Here's a comprehensive implementation plan to incorporate these principles into your daily life. Step 1. Morning Preparation Ritual, 5 to 10 minutes. Begin each day by preparing your mind for challenges. Review your firm purpose and values. Identify potential difficulties you might face, and mentally rehearse responding with patience and wisdom. As Epictetus advised, first tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, then do what you have to do. Write in a journal or speak aloud. Today I may encounter difficult people, unexpected obstacles, and my own negative emotions. I choose to respond with patience, focus on what I can control, and act according to my values. Step 2. The response pause technique. When triggered emotionally, whether by criticism, frustration, or unexpected challenges, practice the response pause. Take 3 deep breaths before responding, creating space between stimulus and reaction. During this pause, ask yourself, is my initial reaction aligned with my values? What part of this situation can I control? How would the person I aspire to be respond? This simple technique prevents impulsive reactions you might later regret and empowers you to choose thoughtful responses. Step 3. Midday reflection. Check in, 2 to 3 minutes. Take a brief pause midday to reset your mental state. Ask yourself, am I focusing on what I can control? Have I been guarding my mind effectively? Where have I succeeded or struggled in applying Stoic principles today? This check-in prevents accumulated stress and redirects your attention to what matters most. Step 4. Evening review practice, 10 minutes. End each day with a comprehensive review of your thoughts and actions. Consider what went well today and why. Where did I fall short of my ideals? What could I do differently tomorrow? What am I grateful for today? This practice, similar to the Stoic exercise of premeditatio, builds self-awareness and accelerates growth. It's not about self-judgment, but honest self-assessment for continuous improvement. Step 5. Weekly negative visualization session, 15 minutes. Once weekly, practice structured negative visualization. Contemplate losing things you value, health, relationships, material comforts, then return to the present with renewed appreciation. This builds both gratitude and resilience. Step 6. Monthly values alignment review. Monthly, evaluate how your actions align with your stated values and firm purpose. Identify areas of misalignment and make specific adjustments to bring your life into greater harmony with your principles. Step 7. Create environmental supports. Design your environment to reinforce Stoic practices. Post reminders of key principles where you'll see them daily. Create a designated reflection space. Curate media consumption to support mental clarity. Surround yourself with people who respect your philosophical path. Remember that implementing these principles is a lifelong practice, not a destination. As Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The goal isn't perfect application, but continuous improvement and learning. Conclusion: the path to unshakable resilience. The 10 Stoic principles we've explored offer more than philosophical concepts. They provide practical tools for navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and resilience. By establishing firm purpose, focusing on what you can control, guarding your mind, mastering criticism, transforming offense, practicing negative visualization, confronting fear, accepting reality, finding strength in adversity, and cultivating gratitude, you develop an inner fortitude that external circumstances cannot disturb. This journey doesn't promise the absence of difficulties. The Stoics were clear-eyed realists who acknowledged life's inherent challenges. What it offers instead is something far more valuable: the ability to maintain inner peace regardless of external conditions. As Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. The power of Stoicism lies in its practicality. These aren't abstract theories, but battle-tested practices that have guided countless individuals through personal struggles, political upheaval, exile, imprisonment, and all manner of adversity. From Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruling Rome to modern CEOs, athletes, and ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges, Stoic principles have provided a framework for maintaining dignity and purpose amidst life's storms. In our increasingly unpredictable world, cultivating this internal stability isn't just beneficial, it's essential. By mastering your mind and emotions through Stoic practice, you develop the ultimate form of freedom: independence from the tyranny of external events and fleeting emotions. Call to action. The philosophy of Stoicism isn't meant to be admired from a distance but lived daily. I invite you to begin implementing these principles today. Choose one Stoic principle that resonated most strongly with you and commit to practicing it consciously for the next week. Notice how it affects your emotional responses and overall well-being. Share your experiences in the comments below. Which principle speaks most directly to challenges you're currently facing? What insights or questions emerged as you considered these ideas? If you found value in these teachings, subscribe to this channel for more wisdom on applying ancient philosophy to modern life. Together, we can build a community dedicated to developing mental resilience and emotional mastery. Remember, as Seneca wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." Begin your Stoic practice now, not someday in the future. Your journey toward unshakable resilience starts with the very next choice you make.